10-year-olds give you the hardest questions, don't they? It's like, oh no. Suppose you were with Moses and the Israelites at Mount Sinai. He comes down from Mount Sinai with 10 commandments. And you look at him and you go, I don't like those 10. I got my own 10. Should you be called an Israelite, a follower of Yahweh? No, you're not a follower of Yahweh. You're a follower of yourself. Here's the problem. We don't want to change ourselves. We want to change God.
Can a Christian disagree with Christ and still hold true to their faith? A question so profound, it came from the innocent curiosity of a 10-year-old. In a world where we often seek to reshape beliefs to fit our narrative, this young mind challenges us to consider, are we trying to change God instead of ourselves? This isn't just a theological debate, it's a heart-to-heart with Frank Turek, exploring the essence of belief. Can love for the divine coexist with dissent? Watch as we unravel this complex dynamic between personal conviction and divine doctrine.
Lila texts in. She says, I'm 10 years old, about to be 11, but my question is, can you still love and cherish God but not always agree?
Not always agree with God?
Yes.
Ten-year-olds give you the hardest questions, don't they? It's like, oh no. Well, I suppose it's possible, but I wouldn't want to do that, right? I love my parents, but might I disagree with them? Yeah, but they're human beings. God is God. And this is one of the problems I think that we have in so-called Christianity today. There are people out there who claim to be Christians yet disagree with Jesus. They disagree with Jesus on marriage. They disagree with Jesus on life. They disagree with Jesus on sex. They disagree with Jesus on hell. Stop calling yourself a Christian, because you're not. You say, you get to decide who a Christian is? Let me just give you an analogy. Suppose you were with Moses and the Israelites at Mount Sinai. He comes down from Mount Sinai with 10 commandments. And you look at him and you go, I don't like those 10. I got my own 10. Should you be called an Israelite, a follower of Yahweh? No, you're not a follower of Yahweh. You're a follower of yourself. Here's the problem. We don't want to change ourselves. We want to change God. I just have a personal policy. If somebody rises from the dead, I just trust whatever the guy says. Okay? Jesus rose from the dead. I'm going with what he said. Even if I personally may have an inclination to disagree, he is the standard. I'm not the standard. This is why when you get questions about sexuality or any other questions that you think are controversial in the society, what you need to say is, hey, I'm just telling you what Jesus said. You got a problem with Jesus? Take it up with him. But Jesus is the standard. I'm not the standard. I'm not the moral arbiter of the universe. Jesus is. So I trust in him. I just think he's smarter than me.
It is important to recognize that God is the ultimate moral standard, the source of all goodness and purity. However, it is also important to distinguish between genuine disagreement and sinful rebellion. In the Bible, we see instances where individuals express their struggles, doubts, and questions to God. For example, Abraham questioned God's plan to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and Moses questioned God's choice to lead the Israelites. These individuals were not condemned for their questioning, but instead engaged in a genuine dialogue with God. With the case of Sodom and Gomorrah, we can see that God destroying Sodom is justified in giving the opportunity to save the city if the criteria was met, but it wasn't. Disagreement with God becomes sinful when it stems from a rebellious or prideful heart that seeks to undermine his authority and go against his revealed will. Sinful disagreement involves a refusal to submit to God's wisdom, rejecting his commands, or intentionally distorting his truth to suit personal desires. However, it is important to note that as finite human beings, our understanding is limited, and we may struggle to fully comprehend God's ways and purposes. It is possible to have genuine questions and doubts while still loving and cherishing God. The key is to approach our disagreements with humility, a willingness to learn, and a desire to align our thoughts and actions with His revealed truth. In the process of seeking understanding and wrestling with our disagreements, it is crucial to turn to God's Word, the Bible, as the ultimate authority. The Bible provides guidance and reveals God's character and will for us. It is through studying and meditating on His Word that we can gain insight and wisdom to navigate our disagreements. Additionally, prayer plays a vital role in our relationship with God. Through prayer, we can express our concerns, doubts, and questions to God, seeking His guidance, clarity, and discernment. It is in this dialogue with God that we can grow in our understanding and deepen our relationship with Him. Ultimately, our love and reverence for God are demonstrated through our obedience and surrender to His will. While we may not always fully understand or agree with everything He says, we strive to align our lives with His teachings and submit to His authority. Our love for God is shown through our willingness to seek His truth, grow in our understanding, and trust in His perfect wisdom. Genuine disagreement with God can exist within the context of a loving and cherishing relationship with Him. However, we need to be mindful of the distinction between genuine questioning and sinful rebellion. It is important to approach our disagreements with humility, a desire to learn, and a commitment to align our lives with His revealed truth. Through prayer, study of His Word, and seeking His guidance, we can navigate our disagreements and grow in our relationship with God.